The biggest sin listed in any religion is the murder or killing under the sun. The suicide is nothing but self murdering. Neither the people you left will be happy after your suicide, nor you after departing from here. Absolutely, there will be nothing to credit to your account on mercy after you committing suicide on the planet. Then, why should you commit suicide? Don't limit yourself. There are ample possibilities in this life, but for that, you should be alive. Why to commit suicide? This suicide has unfortunately become very contagious nowadays, especially in the teenagers. And it is limited only to the human beings in the world. Suicides are happening because of either the people are not aware about the precious life, or even they don't know what is the difference between the death and suicide. Especially the younger generation, who have so much of negligible tolerance and patience, even for small petty reasons and failures in their life, they are becoming slaves to the suicide. Might be for very negligible reasons like love failure, failure of examinations, stress, or scolding by their parents or gurus, they are committing suicides nowadays. They will automatically build up a sort of pessimistic fear inside and become slaves to suicide and get lot of questions like, why should I live after me failing in the examinations? How can I show my face either to my people or my relatives when my wife has deserted me? How the hell I can live on this planet when my love is failed? Can I live on this planet after death of my loving son? How can I live after such a big failure and rejection in my life? When we see many around us are facing their life with lots of problems, with poverty, depression, stress and pains, why any one of us should think about committing suicide in our life? Many of us are thinking that it is only the suicide which can liberate us from all our debts, sins, failures, fears and depression of life itself. But we should know the fact that leave alone suicides, not even the natural death will get you either liberation or salvation or free you from your debts, sins or your problems in your life. Because both the deaths and suicide are only to the physical body and it is not to the devotional and pure soul which you are possessing inside. We should understand what is suicide. Suicide is nothing but it is a killing. In Sanskrit or any other Indian languages, if we see the true meaning of suicide, it is hatya or atmahatya. That means it is nothing but one more killing or it is self-killing. And the killing is the most ultimate sin which is listed in any religion under the sun. If you think either the examinations or any situations are bigger than the life, surely it becomes threat to your life. But if you treat any situation is just as a stage of entire life, which is in a larger perspective, then the failure doesn't matter at all. I wanted to share my experience of life. I have experienced and grown up with maximum problems of poverty and suffered all pains of isolations, rejection, separation, competence, pain, lethargy, laziness, disappointments, stress, failures, pain of death of my loved ones, divorces, financial issues, fears of my future, which are led to me to long depressions in my life in the past. It is not at all true that I never ever got depressed or never tried or attempted to commit suicide in my life in the past. I also attempted to commit suicide, but because of my self-awareness, Brahmajnan and introspection, I came out of the situation and empowered myself from inner engineering by the way of spirituality. But due to my Vedic knowledge and process within myself, and due to self-engineering and spirituality, I could avoid and win that situation of committing suicide in my life and empowered myself. Do we know that all of us are made up of physical and observable body, subtle, experienceable mind, divine and pure but invisible soul? The mind, which is very noisy, naughty, is the device which acts as an agent in between the body and soul. It is only in the case of normal death, all these three will be separating each other mutually and dissolve, which is the law of God and the nature. Or else, the soul will never ever leave the body alone in any cases under any circumstances at all. Only when we are in the path of spirituality, divinity, devotion or bhakti marga or on the peak of meditation, in these cases The Holy Spirit will exit from the body, which is a physical, but it will exist on this planet despite the physical body is either cremated or burned off. For example, we have Raghavendra Swami, we have Ashwathama, we have Bande Nawaz of Ajmer, etc. It is only when the physical body cannot sustain the divinity and eternal potential of the soul, it surrenders and the sacred soul will be liberated from the body itself into the space. Other than this, absolutely there are no chances that soul will be leaving body alone at any cost under any circumstances on this planet. But many times body will break this contract which is unsaid, and it will cheat the soul, where soul will be isolated by committing suicides, accidents and sudden deaths. If you look around or behind, is the suicide the solution for any of the issues or problems in the life? Do you think those one who have left us by committing suicide are liberated? They are all free today? Surely no. By committing suicide, we are just trying to run away from the problems and nothing beyond it, because we are timids. But the pain, problems, fears and additionally now the committing suicide, which is the worst sin which is listed, which is self-murdering or hatya, that's also been added up to your list of karmas or sins. On the other hand, did you think of the condition of the soul after committing suicide? Naturally, your body will be taken away and it will be burnt or buried by your own people. But what will happen to the soul, which is totally innocent, ignorant, divine, pure, but it is invisible too? What do you think? Will it also be liberated and free? No. It will be wandering like a scavenger, helpless, without even expressing its pains and distresses to anybody under the sun. The poor soul, normally, it will be taking shelters in lonely, dark, silent, ruined and distracted places till it gets liberations from this planet and complete its term, which is totally predetermined by the God and the creation. But again, these souls will be victims for some of the brutal ghosts or devils, or might be tortured by some of the witchcraft magicians who might take them into his custody, and he will use them as for his greed, lust and desires. Jatasya dhruvo mrityu. According to Veda Upanishads and science, it is said all the living beings have to die one or the other day on this planet. And even anything visible today on this creation will be perishing one or the other day, including the earth, sun or the entire universe itself. Then it is sure that death is inevitable. Why should you attempt to commit suicide in your life then? Suppose in my life I have failed in my examination, or my wife has deserted me, or even my husband is dead, or my daughter or son is killed in the accident. Why should we worry about it, and why should we make it an issue which is bigger than the life itself? Does all these things will revert normally and it will be resolved if I commit suicide in my life? Does it make any impact at all, either to our own people or to me or to the planet by me committing suicide? The answer is totally nil. And here I wanted to bring some clarity to everybody. If you are depressed so much to the peak in your life or commit suicide today, there will be absolutely nil effect on this planet by your absence, or the birth, or it is after your death, or you committing suicide. There will not be any impact on this planet whatsoever at all. The gigantic universe is so big, forget about you committing suicide. Even if our earth itself is blasted today into dust, or even our entire solar system is blasted, suddenly today, it is also not going to make any impact at all whatsoever on this gigantic creation. Then why should one think of committing suicide in his life? Are you also a victim of many circumstances in the past and thought of committing suicide or attempted to commit suicide in your life? Are you the one who has attempted to commit suicide? but escaped? Congratulations, this is your new birth and it is your new incarnation. Are you driven to know about death, suicide, and about the policies of the universe and God about the suicide and death? Are you interested to know what Veda Jnana and Brahma Jnana says about deaths and suicides? Enroll today, the only seminar under the sun to certify you as Brahmajnani and makes you to experience complete life transformation. Charge your physical body scientifically, energize your mind to purity by spirituality, and experience complete transformation of your divine soul eternally. Charge, energize for transformation.